suppositions. I'm going to have a lot of, and generally what happens with our caucus, the question and answer session, let's see. Yeah, Roger, would you take them around? The question and answers for us are usually the better part of what we do. Now that information that she brought us, you're going to get this page, this paper, and you're going to research that stuff deeper, because that's the sort of thing that you want to watch, rewatch, and research, because it is going on. Why? Why are we trying to populate with refugees that do need to be removed, but why are we not allowing a good percentage of Christians to have the refugee status from Syria? Why is that? It's very problematic. What can we do about this thing? The first thing that we have to do is not only think about it, read about it, try to understand it, but challenge somebody to prove you're wrong. Have discussion with your neighbor. Have discussion with where you work. And I understand pastors can't preach this from the pulpit because their mission is preaching the gospel. This is not the gospel. This is about religious liberty, though. We've had some discussion about where that's headed with the Supreme Court decision and all, when the Republic died, when the Supreme Court started legislating from the bench. I want you folks to start thinking of some questions and raise your hands when you have one. Otherwise, we'll have a short meeting because I'm okay with that. Alan? Or Joe first, and then Alan.
I'll be 46 years old next month. This has been going on for 30 years. Every day I'm reading for years and investigating. Why is this the first I've heard of this? How have they been able to keep this so covert, so hidden? And it's not that I doubt it. I completely I'm absorbing this. I'm shocked. I definitely see it happening because I see the population showing up, and when I would see things like, wow, you know, why? How have they been able to keep this so covert? We're talking about, you know, the flavor of the day for the past couple of years is the Mexicans taking the jobs, the Mexicans getting in, and then here we are. My biggest question, as I posed to you earlier, is what does the paperwork look like on this? Are they getting here with Social Security numbers already intact? Are they working off a green card? What does the paperwork look like?
You'll get to Mike later, but you had two major points there I want to address. One is, the first thing you don't do to a refugee who's coming from a horrendous place is ask them to go back and get the birth certificate. So the thing that you're going to have to, I'm going to surmise, and it can be bored out, I don't think they have to prove who they are or where they came from. I think they'll get a refugee status by just claimation that I'm going to be killed if I go home. And all they have to do, there's a thing called Takriya, that is that Allah will allow a Muslim to lie if it advances Islam. So they're very religious people. There's no doubt about that. And they wouldn't lie unless it advanced Islam. The terminology Takriya allows it. So what would be the consequence of saying, hey, I'm Christian. If I go home, they kill me. Can I have refugee status? But what you really are is an Islamic terrorist waiting for your call. Maybe that's happening, right? Prove that it isn't, because it's consequential to this country, because it can happen. The other thing, Joe, you asked, is, folks, some of you think of some other questions, because this is what's good. How can it be kept silent? How could it have happened for 30 years? What date was it 30 years ago? What, was it around 1970? 85? Well, I'll tell you, in 1970 was when Henry Kissinger and Richard Nixon, two pretty recognizable Republicans, put together this notion that if Saudi Arabia, they went over there, Kissinger did, and took to Prince Faisal at the time, I think it was, that if you will only sell your oil in US dollars, we will give you protection against Israel, because, you know, Israel was pretty much having their way in the 6-day war, We backed them, we militarized them, we sold them. Our military-industrial complex was really pumping them out, and it was for a good cause. I'm so glad that we've got the best. We came down on the right side there, but Saudi Arabia was looking over at Israel with their eyes this wide open and saying, man, we're going to lose our empire here, literally. We're going to lose our oil fields, literally. But Kissinger and Nixon put this plan together. If you will only sell, Joe, you asked a question. I need to remind myself of what question I'm answering. Why can it be silent? How could this have been going on so long? Both sides, Republicans and Democrats, are benefited by keeping it quiet. That Saudi Arabia and the OPEC nations, because of that deal in the early 70s, will purchase our debt. See, because every president loves debt. Every senator loves debt. Roger, I think she's got a hand up. So the answer to Joe's question is, how could it be secret? They are complicit. They do not want it revealed that, Alan has a question over there in the black, Roger. Right back over there. Keep your hand up if you have a question, that way we can. So both sides are complicit. We have to find a market for the debt that large government requires. Alan?
You had said something a few weeks.
Hang on, let him turn it on.
You had said something.
It's not on.
Oh. You got a green light.
There is a green light on it?
Can everybody hear me?
Well, what? Mike, check out that microphone. But they can't hear the question on YouTube. Check out the wireless. Something wrong with it.
Testing.
Okay, it was working this time. Okay, Alan, speak loudly.
You had said something a few weeks back that had me troubled and thinking and concerned ever since you said it, and that's that they're building a big mosque on Ellsworth Road.
Yeah, that's working now.
Could you expand on what you know about that, and are they
82,000 feet is what was asked. 82,000 square foot mosque. Now that's going to house a lot of religious education, which we have to benevolently say we're okay with religious education even if it isn't our religion. That's who America is. But we have to be careful because of what kind of mosques, what they're doing in some mosques. They have, and they're not allowing any oversight at all. I told you before, I tried to attend this one over here and I got escorted out by armed guards. Said, you're not Islam. I said, how can you tell? Well, you're not Arab. Now, see, these folks were just hired hands that wore guns, and they were not going to let me get, they didn't know the faith. All they know is they were told by somebody in that little building right over there on Fort Boulevard that Dennis Moore was not going to get in that building. So they escorted me right out to the road. We have to be careful with what goes on there. I don't know if anything untoward was going on there. But what we know is it does go on in some mosques. Now the status of that mosque, 82,000 over on off Gulfside and Ellsworth, I think that's where it is. It's on hold because they're doing a traffic study. You know what kind of traffic we have here on Fridays. It's not the Tea Party caucus that is causing all that traffic. It is during Friday, there's an awful lot of traffic over there. So I think that they are using it as a convenient reason to hold till they can make a decision. It's very tough when you're a township supervisor or a city governing board to make a decision like this because it's consequential. Joe?
The Christians that are being martyred at the hands of ISIS, we should be taken in as refugees. And then the refugees that we are taking in, are they Muslim? And if they're Muslim, are they the moderate Muslims?
Oh, this is the one you turned up.
Are they the moderate Muslims, or are they the Muslims that would like to see Sharia law instituted in our country?
I think there was about well over 50% of Muslims, period, want Sharia law. To answer your question, yes, Christians should be given